rumblings surrounding Pittsburgh that T.J. Watt may be up in trade discussion? Should the Cardinals bring a second Watt into the Valley? Let's discuss.
You are Locked On Cardinals, your daily Arizona Cardinals podcast. Part of the Locked On Podcast Network, your team every day.
Cardinals, Alex Clancy here. Follow me on Twitter, Clancy's Corner. Follow the podcast at Locked On AZ Cards. Thank you for making Locked On Cardinals your first listen, free wherever you get your podcast and on YouTube, part of the Locked On Podcast Network. Your team every day. Today's episode is brought to you by Game Time. Download the Game Time app, create an account, use code LOCKEDONNFL for $20 off your first purchase. So let's just rip the Band-Aid off, shall we? There are soft rumblings surrounding TJ Watt and him potentially being on the move out of Pittsburgh. It's on the last year of his contract. He's going to want a contract extension, and 31 other teams will probably be looking him up. Today's show, which was supposed to be a draft show, because I've got some thoughts, which I'll do tomorrow to round out the week. TJ Watt, it's fascinating. And there's a couple different reasons why. So I'm going to talk about the downside in the final segment, the upside in the second segment, but this is just kind of an overarching what if and could they logistically segment. Could they? Yeah. They have the money. They have the draft picks. And on top of all of it, and this is the most important part of where the Cardinals are right now, irrespective of what they do at 16 in the second round and down the list, no move will crater their future. Zero moves. Unless they offer 3 first-round picks or something, which would never happen. Zero moves will crater their future. They've got guys on rookie scale contracts. They've got guys who've already gotten paid. And when it comes down to should they, that's kind of secondary. It's more, could they? And the answer is yes. It wouldn't be forcing a square peg into a round hole. And that, in and of itself, whenever we talk about a different player, trading up, trading back, free agency, this entire cycle, specifically at the end of last season to now, it's a completely different world because it's stable. It's sunny outside. They can do whatever they want and not completely jettison their chance for the future by, quote unquote, going all in. Going all in or going for it usually is a last-ditch effort to save something. Mortgaging the future, mortgaging youth, mortgaging everything down the line to make it happen right now. And there is such an intense amount of pressure, especially in the NFL, to make it work, predominantly because in the playoffs, it's one game. It's not a series. It's not usually the best team always wins. It's any given Sunday, true by definition in the playoffs. So going for it, say the Cardinals had an old roster and they had all their picks this year, and you wanted to trade a first and a third and then extend TJ Watt because you've got a 2-year window, that would be going for it. If it doesn't work, you're going to be in the cellar for a long time. This is completely different. They've got the ecosystem and the structure in place. The building has been built. Now you just need people in it. So the conversation surrounding TJ Watt can be had when years and years and years and years. It's never a conversation. Oh, the Cardinals can't do that. They can't do that. They haven't done the small things right. And that's something that I've been screaming from the mountaintops for pretty much since 2011 when I started in sports media here. And especially since 2016, since I took over this podcast. Like, they don't have the innards. They haven't built things right. The foundation, and every day you'll remember this. I don't say it often anymore. The foundation used to be put together by crazy glue and Band-Aids. That was Steve Keim's way. Make it look pretty, but really the foundation isn't great. It's like that movie, was it Cinderella Man, I think? It was through the Great Depression where Russell Crowe, where it was John Favreau, Russell Crowe's like partner or manager or whatever, looked to live this lavish lifestyle, but then you walked into his place and all he had was a bed because he sold everything just for the look to maintain it. That's what the Cardinals were with Steve Keim. It was Fugazi. It was fool's gold. So now when you draft well, you've got guys in key positions who are set to make a lot of money 2 years from now, Paris Johnson Jr., Garrett Williams, and others. But you've got this window where it can overlap, and the contracts that the Cardinals have signed a couple of years ago now look like bargains with Kyler Murray. James Conner and Budda Baker didn't take a whole lot of cheese. Trey McBride's only making $11 million guaranteed every year. Like, this would be the time. I alluded to, or I compared it to a solar eclipse where it's like we're starting to see the sun and the moon separate as the sun's passed across it. And you're starting to see, okay, the 49ers are in flux. The Seahawks are signed Sam Darnold to a 1-year deal pretty much, even though it's 3, but they have an out after 1. They traded DK Metcalf. The Rams, we don't know. Can that defense really become elite with how young it is? Is Matthew Stafford going to be able to replicate without Cooper Kupp, even though Cooper Kupp fell off the second half of last season? Like, this is the time. You can see a path. And if the Cardinals want to pounce with J.J. Watt, they can, or T.J. Watt, they can. And it will not shatter the future. So if there is a time for the Cardinals to pounce, it's now. And very rarely does a player, all-defensive player of the year, become, put up on the trading block. And I'm not saying, like, we don't know for sure if it's going to happen, but I'm assuming they don't want to extend a 32-year-old where their offense is in shambles. They don't have a quarterback, really. They're going to get much older before they get younger with the Steelers. And TJ Watt could be a plug-and-play guy for the Cardinals. And that defense immediately top 10 trajectory. Immediately, obviously. And it's not just his play. It's everything. His aura is different, man. Like, this would not be trading for a guy and then giving him a whole bunch of cheese and be like, oh, you know what? Here, enjoy your retirement, buddy. You can be injured for, 10 games a year. Here's your money. Thank you for coming and playing for the Cardinals, which is what it was forever. So when his name popped up and you see the Cardinals on the short list odds-wise of where he could land, I think it'd be a massive disservice if we didn't discuss it. Because people who say, comments every day, oh, Samuel Cardinals, nothing's going to change. Okay. You can watch a different team, Like, the victim mentality with the Cardinals when things are obviously changing kind of confuses me. They've got the space. They've got the money. They've got the draft picks. They've got everything to a point where it's not going to ruin their future if it doesn't work. And that is a very, very powerful place to be. Locked on Cardinals, your team every day. What's the upside? This is the easy segment. The next segment after the downside is going to be a little bit stickier, but this is the fun one next. This episode of Locked on Cardinals is brought to you by the Game Time app. There's nothing like living with that energy of a live game, whether it's catching a last-minute MLB showdown or soaking in the excitement of an NBA matchup. Finding great seats at a great price, though, that used to be a challenge until I found Game Time. Game Time makes scoring last-minute tickets easier than ever. Prices actually drop as the event gets closer, and with their all-in pricing, you can see the total cost up front, no surprises at checkout. Like, the coolest part about Game Time, in my opinion, aside from, the actual app is super clean, super easy to use. Seat views. You click on a section in a row at a venue that you may want to buy tickets at, and it shows you a panoramic view from your phone of what the vantage point you'll see if you were to buy those tickets. It completely takes the guesswork out of buying tickets. And the guesswork is null with Game Time. Download the Game Time app, create an account. Use code LOCKEDON NFL for $20 off your first purchase. Terms apply. Again, that's code LOCKEDON NFL for $20 off. Download Game Time today. Last minute tickets. Lowest price. Guaranteed. I mean, these conversations are becoming just more real. Like, it's not just filler where it's like, ooh, name, ooh, Cardinals, ooh, maybe. This is how it could work, even though there's no way in hell it's going to. This is a legitimate possibility if he does become available. Why would he want to play for the Cardinals? Come on, man. If you don't see what's happening, this is how good things start. And good things doesn't mean winning a Super Bowl tomorrow. I don't get it. I don't get it. The Stockholm syndrome to losing and dysfunction just bewilders me. The upside for the Cardinals trading for J.J. Watt. Let's get this part out of the way first. Or T.J. Watt, sorry, because I was going to talk about J.J. Watt. J.J. Watt had fun here. Well, he got paid $20 million. Yeah, he deserved it. That's what everybody would have paid him. 2-year, $40 million to Monty Osford special before Monty Osford. He was great. He made Zach Allen's career. And he produced. I mean, he missed some time later, but he produced. He was a high-functioning player for this team. He loved it here. I'm sure he talked to his brother about that. Or would if, this actually becomes an actual possibility. That trust transfer is there, brother to brother. It is. That's one. Obviously, the upside. That's kind of like a bonus. That's a bonus. But I don't know why I did that twice. The upside is immediate edge one. He is one of the better players in football, if not the best. He has been for forcing fumbles, interceptions out of nowhere from his position. Like, the dude is a turnover machine and a sack machine. So you pair him with Josh Sweat, Baron Browning, B.J. Ojulari. You want to find a better spot for an up-and-coming pass rusher who's been riddled with injuries his first 2 years, and B.J. Ojulari, and T.J. Watt, and Josh Sweat? Yeah. That immediately makes the secondary more powerful. That immediately makes the pass rush top 10 when they were non-existent last year. It immediately changes the face of this team to a defensive, to the defense is better than the offense. And I don't know when it happened. Maybe this is growing up, but a top 5 defense is sexier than a top 5 offense to me. We've seen a huge drop-off in passing yards. Massive. Remember years ago, it was probably 5, 6, 7 years ago when it was like, when's the 6,000-yard passer going to happen? Now we're not even getting to 5. The game is changing. Run the ball, play defense. Boring wins. If you can't run the ball and you can't play defense, you're not going to win. So when you see a guy like this, number 90, you're like, in red? So the upside also, this is fascinating. The contract is actually an upside. So he's got 1 year left on his deal, $21 million this year, which is a number, $30 million cap hit. Obviously, wherever he gets traded, if he were to get traded, there's going to be a contract extension, which is going to knock the number down this year. He's going to be 32 next year. This isn't a 27-year-old pass rusher. You give him a 3-year contract total, not with an out. You give him a 3-year contract, $90 million, $50 million guaranteed, and you call it a day. Where he has the elevators, where he has the incentives with sack numbers and win totals and games played, which is 100% important with somebody who's missed time like he has. But you can give him a short-term deal. And that's an upside. This isn't a 28-year-old pass rusher. 28 and 31 is very different. And also, with him, it's something that he's not going to have to be the defense, which is a massive thing for a 31-year-old. So naturally, upside. Naturally. Just take a second. Let's take 10 seconds, even 8 seconds maybe. It's only a 30-minute show. Just picture T.J. Watt on the sideline for the Arizona Cardinals. Picture what he'd be like lining up, hand in the dirt. Opposite side with Josh Sweat. Alongside some form or fashion of Darius Robinson, Dalvin Tomlinson, and Calais Campbell. Just think about that. Think about what that front would be like. Think about Garrett Williams and Max Melton and Budda Baker and Jalen Thompson and Adrian Taylor-Demerson behind and Mac Wilson ranging in the middle. Think about what that defense could be. Nobody's washed up. Nobody's going to be overpaid. Everybody's going to have their role. Nobody's going to have to overcompensate. And the Cardinals can absolutely eat from every position. That's why this should become a real thing. This should be a real conversation. This should be something where you need to look and you need to see the Cardinals are in a perfect position to do it, and you jump. They're in a perfect position and you jump. We've seen from Monty Ossenford, his intestinal fortitude, trading back from 3 to 12 and back up to 6 is not normal. It was calculated. The Cardinals won. And you could say, oh, Will Anderson, cool. The Cardinals didn't need a pass rusher more than they needed an offensive lineman. It doesn't matter what the other players drafted, who the other players drafted, what position they drafted. They weren't going to take a quarterback. They weren't like the Cardinals got an extra first-round pick, and then they traded the second-round pick they just got to move back up. They used somebody else's pick to move back up to 6. You know, like Monty Ossenford has shown that he's got the cojones to do things. And while it seems like, oh, he's been sitting on his hands the first 2 offseasons, you can't force a rebuild, man. And I'm sorry that it didn't happen right away. I'm sorry. I'm sorry for you. But look at what is happening now. Organic, calculated, methodical. And if the Cardinals were to trade, let's talk about this. The upside, finally, and I could have talked about this first segment, but I want to kind of more talk about it now. You offer 16 for TJ Watt straight up in a heartbeat. In a heartbeat. You offer number 16 and a 3rd-round pick next year? In a heartbeat, dude. It doesn't matter. Draft picks are question marks. Irrespective of where it is, number 1, number 32 in the first round. It doesn't matter. They're question marks. You don't know. You know what Defensive Player of the Year multiple times is. You do it. You extend him, and you have him play every down for the rest of his career as an Arizona Cardinal. Because remember, I say this tongue-in-cheek, but I feel like some people need to get their head shook. I mean, proverbially, I'm never going to shake anybody's head. Okay, this is a family show. We're a family. Okay? We're all together here. You get the player when you trade away the draft picks. I know this is difficult for some people to understand. Oh, it's too much, but you know that you're getting a multi-defensive player of the year player back, right? If this were to happen. You're not just giving away draft picks saying, here, have fun. We don't need these. You get a player who's going to be your pass rusher 1 right away with something to prove. No doubter. No doubter. Overpay for him. Overpay. Aside from like a 1st and a 2nd, which is ridiculous. He's 31. You could probably get away with a 2nd and a 2nd this year and a 2nd next year, a 2nd and a 5th. I would give a 2nd and a 5th for him in a heartbeat. In an absolute heartbeat. Extend him. Night. Locked on Cardinals, your team every day. What's the downside? There's always, checks and balances. We'll discuss it next. Locked on Cardinals, your team every day. Please go to the YouTube channel. Search Locked on Arizona Cardinals. Hit that subscribe button, man. A couple hundred away from 4K. Would love to hit that before the season starts. Tell your friends. Water's warm. We have a good time here. I treat you like adults. That's my tagline. I got to work on that. At Clancy's Corner on Twitter. Please DM me questions, segments, topic ideas, especially around the draft. There's one, not especially around the draft, at any time. I love that stuff. DM me. I get a couple a week. Flood it. At Clancy's Corner. You don't have to follow me. I don't care. You're welcome to, but that's not why. It's just another way to communicate. I have an interesting stance on why I think the Cardinals are bringing in so many pass rushers for top 30 visits. I'm going to discuss that tomorrow. And it's not directly correlative to them drafting a pass rusher at 16. Yeah, it's going to be fun. That's going to be a good one tomorrow. But I felt like a full show for TJ Watt was absolutely necessary. What's the downside? It's 31. He's had injuries in his career. And that's it. Can I do like a 30-second segment here? There's no dude, it's TJ Watt. The money's not a downside. So let me take the devil's advocate side that it's a downside that you're going to have to extend a dude like that. Oh, Paris Johnson Jr., Garrett Williams are going to need contracts soon. And they're going to be big. They're not reset the market big. I don't think that's what Monty Ossenfort's about. But Garrett Williams, and for those that don't know, if you do know, I apologize. You don't have to listen to this part. Any pick after the first round is 4 years. The second and third round is 4 years. First round is 5 years of control. So they've got an extra year with Paris Johnson Jr. What we've seen from Monty Ossenfort, they extended Trey McBride right away. The second they could, they extended him. So you may get ahead of it. It was kind of like who I think it was Carson Wentz. It was either Carson Wentz or Jared Goff, but I think it was Carson Wentz, where Philly extended him like over a year early. They gave him a 3-year contract extension. The Warriors did with Steph Curry, for those that don't remember, years ago, after his rookie deal, before his rookie deal was up, they gave him a 4-year, $44 million, I remember, 4-year, $44 million contract extension as kind of still like a tester. Steph didn't start hot in the NBA. He had ankle injuries. He was out a lot. He was small and then just something clicked. But they gave him 4-year, 44. I think they gave Carson Wentz 3-year, like 130. I think it was something like that. Maybe that's a little bit too much, but they got ahead of it. And I think that's what they're probably going to do with Paris Johnson Jr. and Garrett Williams. So with that, you have less of a window to give people a whole bunch of cheese now, which would be a potential downside. I'm just playing devil's advocate. I think that's ridiculous. I don't think the Cardinals, have an issue with that at all. They've completely reset everything. They got a complete blood transfusion. They're a completely new human being. Everything is different. You can add void years now. You can, not to the point of what the Saints have done, which is completely jettison their future and have for the last decade plus. But Monty Ossenfort has all the tools in the tool shed to be able to use. So even if, obviously, you want a 25-year-old pass rusher, you're paying that money. But if it's a 3-year deal, 90 mil, 50 mil guaranteed, no problem. If you want to do an out after the second year, which is the Monty Ossenfort special, do it. But the thing that can't be a downside, the thing that cannot be a downside, number one, which is obvious, you need to extend him if you trade for him. This isn't like a 1 year, let's hope he likes it here. No. That's not happening. Number two is he needs to be bought in. And luckily for the Cardinals, with this specific player, he only has one speed, kill. He only has one speed. He's so good at football, and he loves football. He's a company man. He's not a guy who's like, I want out. Get me out of here. That's not his thing. The Watt brothers are different, dude. They're a different breed. They're a different. And, there are people like that. Like, off the top of my head, like dudes who just love where they are. Cam Jordan, perfect example. Like, he's been in New Orleans forever, and does it with a damn smile on his face. They've been bad for a handful of years in a row, and he loves playing football. He loves being with the Saints, and he just came back for another year. There are guys like that, okay? Rarely do those guys get Luka Doncic. Rarely do those guys end up in trade conversations. And the fact that this is just a murmur, okay, doesn't mean that there's not actual weight to it. People don't leak these things because they're bored. Maybe in July, because people are bored and there's nothing to talk about. This is draft season, man. Like, I don't see a world where the Steelers don't reset. Now they gave DK Metcalf way too much money. Okay. So much money. Like so much money. Their defense is always good. Okay. Their defense is like their head coach. 9 wins. And that's it. No better, no worse. Oh, he's had a winning record. Great. Their offense is anemic and has been since Ben retired. And even then, the last couple of years, it wasn't great. Aside from the Antonio Brown, Emmanuel Sanders years. The downside of trading for TJ Watt, the only legitimate one for me would be the injuries. Of course. That's the only legitimate. But unlike, he has Cam Hayward there, or had Cam Hayward, but like, unlike the Steelers, the Cardinals actually are in a better situation to bring him in and let him just do his job and not cover for others. The Cardinals front with TJ Watt will be self-sustaining. Every position, every player is capable of doing their job by themselves. This isn't like I equate it to the offensive line because it's easier. It's more regimented. It's like when the Cardinals were having, left guard trouble. It's like, okay, left tackle's doing fine. Center's doing fine. Left guard is leaving a lot to be desired. So now the center has to chip. The left tackle has to chip, which allows the edge to get more leverage off the left tackle easier because the left tackle is chipping for the left guard who can't do their job properly. That's not this if the Cardinals were to bring in TJ Watt. The injuries, the money doesn't bother me. He's not going to reset a market. And even if it's 4-year, 100 mil, 60 mil guaranteed and an out after the third year, the Cardinals can afford it. They can afford it. It's not going to break the bank. Aside from having to give up 2 firsts and a second, which would never happen. Aside from that, they have a clear runway to say, let's rip. And this is the first time in a very, very long time where regardless of what they do for the next 2 years, drafts, trades, signing free agents to big dollars, they can do it and have a regimented plan for the future to keep this ecosystem stable in an effort to continue to grow, build, and get better. In summation, trade for TJ Watt. You like what you see. Locked on Cardinals, your team every day. Remember, without you, there is no me. I'll talk to you tomorrow.